So anyways, it wasn't too much trouble at all finding my way back to Manhattan. It was only a few streets from where I was, and there was a nice bridge that went across with a pedestrian walkway, and then I was back on Manhattan, right in Harlem actually. Since I was near the north part of the island already, that's where Harlem is. Although Harlem's quite a large area, but I got to see parts of Harlem as I was traveling around, and Harlem seemed fairly similar to the Bronx, a little bit nicer, not as run down. The buildings weren't as run down looking, but I did also have a lot of steep streets as well in Harlem. I wanted to kind of wander my way further along the East River, but it was difficult. They didn't really have the path. I don't think continues all the way up to that far up. So I kind of just wandered my way through the streets, and then I found this park that had this nice trail through the woods that I thought probably was the continuation of the East River Bike Path that I've been doing. So I followed it, and it ended up at a dead end. That path was actually leading to another pedestrian bridge that goes over the Bronx. But of course I didn't want to go to the Bronx anyway, so the fact that the bridge was closed really didn't matter to me. But I turned around and I saw that there were these stairs that would let you go up, and it had a sign saying whatever the name of the park, and it said to swimming pool and something else. I thought, okay, well, I'll go up there, and there was quite a few stairs, really steep, a really steep side of a cliff you're kind of climbing up, but on stairs. So I figured, well, whatever, I'll just carry my bike up there, and then I'll be up there, and then traveling this distance along the river won't have been a total waste. So I carried my bike all the way up, which was really, really hard work. It's not an extremely heavy bike, but I got my backpack in there that had lots of water in it, and had electronic stuff and maps and my bike tools, and the whole bike was really heavy, and there was a few little landings where you could stop, and I stopped at the one in the middle just to catch my breath a little bit. But it was a big walk up, and I was so disappointed when I got to the top to see that there was a gate that was locked, that part was closed. And I couldn't believe they didn't have any sign at the bottom or anything to tell you that after you climbed all of these stairs that it was going to be locked at the top. So that was disappointing. You could see the swimming pool there, but it was just a small fence that was locked there. I figured I probably could have lifted my bike over that, but then I figured that part of the park was all blocked off. There was nobody there, so I figured that even if I could get over that gate, maybe the next gate to get back into outside of that park would have been higher, and I wouldn't have been able to. So I just decided to carry my bike all the way back down, which was almost as much work as going up. And so I continued along there. I saw a few other parks along the way. There was a big park that they had dirt jumps that people were riding bikes up and down. They weren't really doing anything too impressive on them. They were probably amateurs that were riding there, but it was neat. I didn't really expect to see dirt jumps in the middle of a big city like this. But anyways, I finally made my way up to the very north end of Manhattan, a little park there they have called Inwood Park, or Inwood Hill Park. So I went through that, and you can ride all the way through the park and up to the very top of the island, and you can see right up the river, right all the way up the Hudson River. And I couldn't believe on the other side, on the New Jersey side, there was no development at all. It was all, at least you couldn't see from there. Maybe beyond the trees there was housing or something, but really I couldn't believe that close to Manhattan and there's no visible development on the New Jersey side. It just looked like just a big green, like a park or something with a green space or something. But anyways, Inwood Park was pretty busy. There was lots going on. There was a band playing. There was I guess probably some soccer games and a baseball game I think was going on there. And this is really far up Manhattan, like where my hotel is below 14th Street, and these streets up there, this is in the 200s, 201 or 202 is where Inwood Park starts. So it just gives you an idea of how far up that is. That's quite far. Manhattan Island is quite a long island. Like, you always think of Manhattan as being a pretty small place with everything really packed in together. But, I mean, everything's really packed together, but it's a big packed pile. It's a very long and narrow island. So anyways, as I was leaving Inwood Park, I saw right along the river there was this gravel pathway that followed the river, and there was a sign there, like, had a name for the park or something. And there was a sign, like, saying this park closes at a certain time or whatever. So I figured this is probably, like, the start of the bike path that follows the Hudson River. So I took it, and this gravel path, it was bumpy, and the further I went, it seemed to get more narrower and narrower, and more overgrown and overgrown. I kept seeing people going through this path, but I couldn't believe it. It seemed like a dead end all of a sudden. The path kind of ended, and there was like a part of the fence that had been ripped away, and then on the other side of that fence there was two railway tracks, and railway ties and all that stuff for the trains there. But that's where the path went, and I couldn't understand it. But I figured, well, if it looks like I'm probably almost there. So I went under, and then I find myself that I'm on the other side of the track. So I'm riding the side railway tracks, and I'm on the wrong side of the fence. And well, I don't think those railway tracks have been used in many years. They looked very rusty. There was no like shiny surface where the wheels were on the tracks. But I felt fairly safe, but I didn't think I really was supposed to be where I was. But anyways, I continued on, and finally I found the spot where the fence was broken again, and you could get back on, and that part connected right back up with the bike path that follows the river. So that was a little bit relieving, but it was really good to get back on a main trail, because I was really in not the most safe spot, and it was really kind of in the middle of nowhere. So anyways, I got back on that path, and right when you get back on that path is right where the bridge to New Jersey is, the big suspension bridge. It's called the George Washinton Bridge, and that was a really impressive bridge. Seeing it from the bottom, the huge pillars for the bridge are just really, really tall, like we're looking at them from the ground level. So that was neat to see. So anyways, my ride back, once I was on this trail, my ride back home was quite uneventful. Once you're on that trail, it's really easy riding because it's just really straightforward. It's meant for bikes, so you just ride and look around at the scenery. So once I got to about Riverside Park along the water, I decided that I would, since I had already seen that scenery quite a bit, like I had already traveled up and down Riverside Park a few times just exploring that park, I decided I would go inland a little bit, and I would take the avenues instead of the path, just so I could see more of the scenery of the city, because you don't see a whole lot of the actual city when you're on the bike path. So I took Columbus Avenue, which turns into 9th Avenue. It changes names. So I took that pretty much all the way from about 82nd Street down to about 42nd Street, and it was getting a little bit dark. It wasn't too busy on that street, but since I had my bike lights with me, and I had them yesterday, and I didn't have them yesterday, so I couldn't use them. I figured since I have them today, I might as well use them. So I put them on and turned them on and used those, and I guess they kept me safer. I made it home alive, so that's good. But anyways, as I got to about 42nd Street, the traffic seemed to get thicker, and I decided, since I had actually seen 9th Avenue from about 42nd Street all the way down to my hotel already, I actually saw that on my first day in New York when I took the taxi from the Port Authority, which is right around 42nd Street, to the hotel. So I figured since I'd already seen that scenery, I would just take the bike path and be safe. So I went over back to the river and took the bike path for the remainder of my trip back to Jane Street. So anyways, fairly uneventful evening after that. It was about 8 o'clock when I got back to the hotel, a little bit after 8, and I was feeling pretty tired from that day. I had traveled a lot of distance, and it was quite a hot day, really sunny. Today wasn't cloudy or rainy at all, so I was pretty tired and had been pretty sweaty all day. So I decided I would just have a little bit of a shower and wash some of the sweat off of me. But as I was doing that, I went to the washroom, and in the bathroom here, they usually have the windows in there open. And so as I was there, I heard all this honking outside on West Street. So I peeked my head out, and I could see that there was tons and tons of motorcycles that were riding up West Street going north. And I don't know what the group was, but it was sure a whole lot of motorcycles. But anyways, I went in the shower and came out, and about 5 minutes later I looked out again, and there was still motorcycles, just tons and tons of them. Like, it must have been 1,000 motorcycles in that group that were riding, some sort of a group ride or something. So that was kind of neat to see. But anyways, after that I just came to my room and downloaded all my pictures from my camera and sorted them into folders, and then I sat down and I recorded this video. So that was my day 5 of my vacation, day 4 of traveling in Manhattan. So I hope you enjoyed listening to my video and watching my experiences here in New York. So thanks for watching.